We have a new #1 contender for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu almost killed each other, and Bron Breakker's suspension has been lifted. All this and more in this episode of This Week in WWE, What Mattered. Beginning with SmackDown, and Sami Zayn opened the show to cut a promo in Montreal, Canada, although he's quickly interrupted by Trick Williams and then shortly thereafter again by Damian Priest. Trick took a cheap shot at Sami by hitting him with a microphone, which led to a brawl with Damian Priest, all before their match later on in the evening. Carmelo Hayes defended the United States Championship for what has already been his 4th title defense in 2026 against the former champion Ilya Dragunov. This was a hard-hitting, high-quality affair, as you would expect nothing less from these two. It was a great match, but ultimately it was The Miz that pushed Ilya Dragunov off the top rope, completely unbeknownst to Carmelo Hayes, who was able then to hit the first 48 and pick up the victory. We then saw Michael Cole do a sit-down interview with Cody Rhodes before his match with Jacob Fatu, where Cody kept trying to dodge questions from Michael regarding his feelings about recently dropping the WWE title. Jacob actually interrupted this interview, and it ended up being a sit-down face-to-face between him and Cody, where Jacob explained that his concern was Drew McIntyre because he's the one that attacked him, but he was frustrated because Cody just had to play the hero. Things then quickly escalated and got personal as Cody referred to Jacob's time in prison, and the two had to be separated. This was a really good segment and a really strong build-up to their match at Saturday night's main event. We then saw tension continue to build between WWE Women's Champion Jade Cargill and Jordynne Grace, as Jordynne accompanied Chelsea Green to the ring for her match with Cargill. Nothing much more to say about this. I'm just glad that they're finally building up a formidable challenger for Jade Cargill, because it feels like she's just been spinning her wheels ever since she's won that Women's Championship from Tiffany Stratton. She's had no real legitimate challengers and has just generally been booked really poorly. We then saw Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga of MFT successfully defend the WWE Tag Team Championships against Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy of the Wyatt Six. Solo was able to hit Dexter Lumis with the Stolen Lantern without the referee noticing, which allowed Tama Tonga to pick up the victory. This wasn't necessarily a bad match at all, but as I explained in last week's video, I'm really not invested in either the Wyatt Six or the MFTs. We then cut backstage to Nick Aldis, who had invited AJ Styles to SmackDown, and this was because Shinsuke Nakamura wanted to lay out a challenge for AJ Styles for a singles match at Saturday night's main event. All because, with the potential of AJ's retirement looming at the Royal Rumble in his match against Gunther, Shinsuke wanted to make sure that he had one last match against his famous old rival, to which AJ accepted. Drew McIntyre then came to the ring to cut a promo on all of his potential challenges for the WWE Championship, where he also claimed yet again that he was not the one who attacked Jacob Fatu. And I can't think of any reason why Drew would lie about this. He really doesn't have any motivation to lie about this. His character really feels like the kind of person that would completely just own up and say, yep, I attacked Jacob Fatu, but he's still denying it even though he's champion now and it doesn't really matter, so I'm really curious to see where this goes. This was again some excellent character work from Drew. He even said that Sami Zayn's son has been disappointed ever since the day he was born and he realised that Sami was his father. Sami later was able to get a little bit of retribution backstage where he gave Drew McIntyre one hell of a slap. We then saw a triple threat tag team match to determine the new #1 contenders for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, where we saw Kiana James and Julia defeat Nia Jax and Lash Legend and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. I'm really glad to see that in recent years WWE has done what I class as a proper tag team triple threat match. In the past, they've had tag team triple threat matches where they only have 2 people in the ring and you can tag anyone in, and I really don't like this concept. I think it's really silly. It's a little bit more understandable for fatal 4-way tag team matches, but I still think it's stupid. Just have one member from each team in the ring and then you can tag in only your partner. The main event of SmackDown was Trick Williams taking on Damian Priest, where Trick ended up throwing Damian into Sami Zayn, who was ringside, which led to Sami attacking Trick in retaliation and thus causing a disqualification. This served to build more tension between Sami Zayn and Damian Priest, because earlier in the night Damian had said to Sami, under no circumstances do you need to get involved in my match, please stay out of it. And just as all hell was breaking loose between those 3 men, we saw Randy Orton slither into the ring and deliver an RKO to both Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. Before I move on to Saturday night's main event, if you have enjoyed this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, as this is a weekly series that I post each and every Friday. The opening match of Saturday night's main event was scheduled to be Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu, but that match never even officially got underway as Fatu attacked Cody Rhodes in the middle of his entrance. Now this segment was absolutely crazy. Those in attendance might have felt a bit hard done by not actually getting to see this match, but this entire brawl went on for a good 15 or 20 minutes. Cody and Jacob fought all around the ringside area and the entire arena. The referee, Charles Robinson, took an elbow to the face during this. There were so many officials and members of security that came out to try and break them up. They were taking shots left, right and centre. They got put through tables, they got hit by bins, they got hit by pretty much anything there was. They got punched, they got thrown. Anyone that tried to get in the way between Cody and Jacob beating the hell out of each other got put to bed pretty quickly. And this wasn't just from Jacob as the heel. Both Jacob and Cody put their hands on officials, so I'm curious as to what the ramifications are going to be for this. This wasn't just 1 or 2 punches, like I said. This was quite brutal. People got put through tables, people got thrown off things. These officials really took a hammering. And typically that leads to consequences, right? So I'm really curious now, are either of these men going to be pulled from the Royal Rumble match? Are they going to be suspended? I think in kayfabe something needs to happen, especially as Nick Aldis is usually the one who's got a bit more of control over his show as opposed to Adam Pearce over on Raw. Just as it seemed that this brawl would go on endlessly, Drew McIntyre appeared. He threw Jacob Fatu off a barricade and through a table. He then hit Cody Rhodes with a low blow and then hit him with a jackknife powerbomb off that barricade and through a table as well, really laying down a mark to both men that he is the champion and he shouldn't be messed with. We then had the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defending against Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. This was a fantastic match, and there was one point where Rhea and Io absolutely had this match won. Io was going for the pin, but Raquel Rodriguez from outside the ring actually pulled Rhea Ripley's leg, so she fell over and fell right onto the referee, which broke up the count. I thought this was a creative spot and something different that you don't really see very often. Just as Raquel Rodriguez was starting to turn the tide towards the Judgment Day, Stephanie Vaquer's music hit. She came rushing out and attacked Raquel to neutralise her and get her out of the situation. This was a really good moment, really nice pop, and it was great to see that Stephanie is okay, because I know she's been struggling with an ankle injury recently. The finish to this match was brilliant as well, very high octane, as Liv Morgan hit Oblivion on Io Sky, but right as Liv was in between the ropes hitting that finishing move, Rhea had done a really quick blind tag to Io Sky, meaning that she was now legal. She delivered one hell of a kick to Liv Morgan, hit the riptide, and then pinned her 1, 2, 3 to make sure that her and Io defended the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Then we had AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura in this very hastily booked match, which is really making me start to think that AJ is actually going to retire at the Royal Rumble. But these two had an absolutely great match. It's completely made up for their match at WrestleMania 34 all those years ago, which I think all of us will be in agreement to say that that match was quite disappointing. It's the closest I've ever seen a WWE match come to that Japanese strong style in a long time, with AJ focusing on Shinsuke's left knee throughout the match, hitting quite a few corkscrew leg takeovers and also putting him in the calf crusher. But ultimately it was AJ Styles that picked up the victory, and there was a really nice show of respect between AJ and Shinsuke at the end of the match, where they did a nice little fist bump in the ring. As I said, the fact that this has been booked so last minute and these two are clearly close personally and professionally makes me really start to think now that AJ is actually going to retire at the Royal Rumble. When this match was first made, I thought there's no way he's going to retire at the Royal Rumble. They'll do something to get away with it, and then Gunther will go on later on in the evening and maybe win the Rumble, or someone will cost him or something. I just couldn't foresee AJ retiring already, but it's really starting to feel like this might be it for AJ Styles' career in WWE. Then in the main event, we saw the fatal four-way match between Sami Zayn, Trick Williams, Randy Orton and Damian Priest to determine Drew McIntyre's first challenger for the Undisputed WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. Now, I'd say this was the weakest match of the night, but that is no dig at this at all. It was a fantastic night of action, with Sami Zayn ultimately picking up the victory, having put in a strong performance in front of his home crowd in Montreal. There were lots of great spots in this match, including a point where Randy Orton hit a lovely RKO on Sami Zayn, was about to pick up the victory, but Trick Williams got Randy out of the way and tried to steal the pin. It was Sami Zayn who picked up the victory, with Randy Orton being a split second away from breaking up the count. He slid into the ring and he was stretched out as far as he could right as that 3 count was hit, so you could see how devastated Randy was that he'd lost this opportunity to challenge for the title. And just a quick word on Saturday night's main event as a whole. I genuinely think this is the best Saturday night's main event that WWE has put on since they've brought it back in the modern day. They continued the sound and feel from December Saturday night's main event, which of course hosted John Cena's final match, and there were a lot less ad breaks as well. I'll be honest, I didn't watch Saturday night's main event live, as it's on at 1 AM in the UK, live on YouTube, and my past experiences of watching it live has been really poor due to the constant ad breaks. It really ruins the experience, so it's a lot better for me to watch it the next day. However, I was really pleasantly surprised watching it back the next day. I don't believe there were any ad breaks during any of the actual matches or segments, which was really nice to see and a pleasant change from what we've seen in the past. Moving on to Monday Night Raw, AJ Styles opened the show where he talked about his upcoming match against Gunther, where he is putting his career on the line. And it was his choice of words in this promo that I find particularly interesting, because he said that Gunther wants to end my WWE career. The fact that he specifically said my WWE career as opposed to just my career or my wrestling career, I find really interesting, and that really is starting to fuel the speculation now that maybe AJ isn't going to be having a full-on professional wrestling retirement, but merely a WWE retirement. And maybe he then goes back to TNA to have some matches there. He might go to New Japan. Who knows? But it's sounding a bit more likely by those choice of words that AJ's retirement, should he lose, may only be a WWE retirement. During this promo, he said there's a locker room full of people he wants to face one more time, and he also wants to be world champion one more time. which led to CM Punk coming out, of course, the current World Heavyweight Champion, and he laid out the challenge for that evening, and it was agreed that AJ would challenge Punk in the main event of Raw for the World Heavyweight title. We saw a 6-woman tag team match where Rhea Ripley, Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer successfully defeated the 3 women of the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Towards the end of that match, it looked like that Stephanie had aggravated her ankle injury while she was climbing up to the top rope. At the time, I wasn't sure if this was kayfabe or legit, but she did attack Raquel later on backstage, which led to her going to Adam Pearce and him making official for next week on Raw, Stephanie is going to defend her Women's World Championship in a Philadelphia street fight against Raquel Rodriguez. We then saw Finn Balor approach CM Punk backstage, where he thanked him for giving him his flowers after their world title match last week. This was nice to see and leads credence to the fact that Finn may well be slowly turning babyface, and Punk told Finn to think about what he wants his legacy to be and advised him that if he wants to be world champion again, he needs to ditch the Judgment Day, as that's not going to happen if he keeps hanging around with losers such as Dominic Mysterio. With Finn seemingly wanting to get an opportunity the honourable way, he approached Adam Pearce about being entered into the Men's Royal Rumble match, but he was told that the match is full, to which Finn was obviously visibly frustrated, but there was nothing that could be done about it. We're only a few days out from the Rumble match and the Men's Rumble match is full. We saw Liv Morgan approach Finn straight after this and talk to him, as she must be concerned about CM Punk's words playing around in Finn's brain, so she was really trying to make sure that he stays loyal to the Judgment Day, referring to them all as family, and essentially being the devil on Finn's shoulder as opposed to Punk, who's the angel. The Vision then came to the ring for the scheduled meeting between Bron Breakker and Adam Pearce to discuss his current suspension. Paul Heyman started off this segment excellently by pointing out that it was Adam Pearce that put his hands on Bron Breakker first, and he also accused him of planting the brass knuckles on the ring apron for Rey Mysterio last week, which cost the Vision the victory. Not only did this result in Adam Pearce lifting the suspension on Bron Breakker and entering him into the Men's Royal Rumble match, he also entered all of the members of the Vision into the Men's Rumble. So that means we're going to see Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul and Austin Theory all in the Rumble match. And just to clarify, this segment happened before the conversation between Adam Pearce and Finn Balor backstage. It wasn't like Adam Pearce has been doing Finn dirty or anything like that. We then saw Michael Cole give another sit-down interview, this time with Gunther, ahead of his match with AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble, where Gunther said that he's sick of old-timers overstaying their welcome and trying to chase one more moment, referring to how he's retired Goldberg, he's retired John Cena, and on Saturday at the Rumble, he's going to retire AJ Styles. He actually threatened Michael Cole as well and said if he wanted to end his career there and then, he could do so, but he's not going to because he wants to hear Michael Cole call the end of AJ's career at the Royal Rumble. He wants to hear him say the words, AJ Styles' career is over. Otis and Akira Tozawa are now the new #1 contenders for the World Tag Team Championship. There's not really much else to say here. They won a fatal 4-way match. The division needs a lot of help. Jimmy Uso's not around at the moment anyway, so we don't know when this match is going to be scheduled, so we just know who the #1 contenders are. And in the main event, for the first time ever, we saw CM Punk take on AJ Styles in a match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a good quality match that was just starting to build nicely and get going when Finn Balor attacked CM Punk to cause a disqualification. You could see all of Finn's frustration come out in this moment with him ruthlessly attacking CM Punk, hitting him with the coup de grace a good 2 or 3 times, and not accepting the fact that he lost the world title match last week fair and square, and really laying down the gauntlet to say that he wants another opportunity. I've seen some people online saying that WWE have done a whole 180 on Finn's character over the last couple of weeks, but I completely disagree. This is going to be a slow turn, it's long-term storytelling. We saw shades of a Finn Balor babyface turn last week, but of course we have to remember that was in front of his home crowd, although it did seem to be the early signs of a turn. And just in this show, we saw Finn thank Punk for giving him his flowers. He went to Adam Pearce, he tried to get another opportunity in the honourable way by entering the Royal Rumble match and trying to win it. But that door got slammed in his face, he's frustrated, panicked, just wants another opportunity because he doesn't know how many World Championship opportunities he's got left in his career. So he resorted to taking the cheap route and just attacking the champion during his match. So that was a quick roundup of everything that I feel mattered in WWE during the past week, covering SmackDown, Saturday night's main event and Raw. Next week's video will also be a little bit longer than usual, just like this one, because we will be covering SmackDown, the Royal Rumble, of course, and then the Raw following. But of course, this is all my personal opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? What do you make of the current storyline with Finn Balor and the Judgment Day? Do you think he's going to leave the Judgment Day? Or do you think this is all a red herring? Do you think Sami Zayn is going to win the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre with it being in Saudi Arabia? Do you think Raquel Rodriguez has a chance of winning the Women's World Championship next week against Stephanie Vaquer? Whatever it may be, please share your opinions below in the comments section. I'd love to know what you guys think about what's going on currently in WWE. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, support me in any way you can. Anything you can do will be greatly appreciated. Now that we're on the road to WrestleMania, things are really starting to heat up, but that's all from me this time around. Until next week's video, which will be posted on Friday as usual. Till then, thank you again, and I'll see you next time.